Hey there, hi there. I hope that you guys can all hear me because it looks like the microphone is working. This camera is working, but others are not. I'm going to look and see. Let's see. I've got to go look and see if my streaming is set. No, I should be fine. Okay, when you guys hop on, say hey. Say hey, say hi. Um, oh no, we're hiding that. Sorry. This is the new thing. I'm using EV Mux for the first time. So I am going to stay on here. I'm trying to make this bigger so I can see things, but it's fine. Let's see. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see me. If you hop on, let me know you can see me. I'm gonna go on here really quick because I still can't share to groups um, from here. So I'm gonna have to get on and share really quick. Maybe. It's all, I don't know why this hates me. It's all still a little chunky, but hopefully it's better. But I do want to see if comments are working. So if you hop on, please comment. Let's see. I don't know what just popped up. Is it okay there? Just want to see what's going on. Okay. I can't even find my stuff here now. So that's kind of bananas. Let's go try again. Again, if you guys get on, sorry. If you guys get on, okay, well, now I see where that's at least live there. Turn the volume down, and then see if I can share it. Let's go see if it will let me. Let's try. Let's try it there first. So, now, I don't know if that means, again, bear with me. Um, that could very well mean that if you guys are chatting, commenting from the group, the Friends of Hope and Dimples, mute this really quick, mute that. Let's see if I get on it. Okay, so now that I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna hope that you can hear me. Not my daughter-in-law in the back. She's playing games with her brothers on the computer. I want to make this bigger. Please acknowledge it. Okay. I want to see if I can see comments. Okay, no comments. So when you get on, say hi. That's all I can ask you to do. Say hi. And if I'm not responding to you, it's because I'm not seeing comments. Again, I'm using something different. I really wish I could just make this bigger. Let's. I don't want to share my screen, but I do want a full screen so I can see things. But apparently that's not going to work either. So that's fine. Okay. Hi. So we're going to do, I'm going to show you guys what I've worked on already, the flowers that I've done. Hopefully the lighting is okay for you guys. I'm going to show you the, and I'm just trying to keep on here and make sure. All right. Okay. Hopefully if you guys leave comments, I'm going to see them. So I'm going to show you guys the flowers I've already done. I'm going to show you how they come. I'm going to show you the paint that I've currently used and kind of what happens to it when it sits in these bags and what I have to do to get it ready. And then I am going to go ahead and use a couple of these smaller buckets and try some of this wood dye that I just got from the wood flower place. And we're going to give that a shot and see how well that works. And then, I don't know why this is being a sin bananas. Want to see all. Want to see all. Huh. I just don't understand what's happening. It's so weird. I guess we'll see. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and try some of this. And if you guys, I can't see your comments and I'm not replying to you, to find a way that I can see if you guys are commenting because apparently, I don't know, this doesn't seem like it's working. Um, however, I can't dwell on that right now. I'm using it. That's all I can do. That all looks good. So the project that I've had in mind for 2 years, almost 2 years. I mean, Melaine tends to add time when I sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, it was this long ago." She tends to add more time than it really is, and I tend to not have as much time as it really is because it's kind of bananas to me that I want to say like we're 5 years into painting and obsessively creating this craft space all around painting ceramics, which has turned into so much more than that. But anyway, this project, I know the truck's been painted for a year. So I'm going to show you guys the truck, and it's going to look a little wonky right now because I've kind of put some of the fairy lights in it that I want to use. So I'm going to show you guys that, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the wood flowers. I'm going to show you the painted ones. Again, as I had mentioned earlier, let's just check this really quick. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to I'm going to show you what, sorry, my mind is lost. I'm going to show you the ones that I have already airbrushed, and some, not all of these have been airbrushed, but some of them have been. So the ones that I've airbrushed and kind of started to try and do the shading and the things in them. And then I need to grab that flower that I did just in pastels. Now I don't know where I stuck it, but I should be able to find it. So I'm going to show you those. I've got the container over here of the flowers for those of you who have actually ordered the dyed flowers. Those will be going out on Monday. And then I'm going to show you how to dip flowers, explain to you the paint that I've used for the flowers, water, the glycerin. There's so many different methods. It's not really a wrong way. We're starting to get to a wrong way when I start showing you this, because this bag of paint has actually, this yellow was the first color that I mixed. Um, and there is it's been sitting here. So this is actually house paint, but then I actually mixed some craft paint in with it because I was running out and add more water, and I wanted a little bit different color yellow. And so it actually, because it's a little cold in my basement, um, it actually, you feel the paint clumping up in the bottom. So I have to go through and kind of break it up and let it dissolve again in the water. So I'm going to show you guys that, and then I'm gonna show you how I mix it. And there's a ton of videos out there on YouTube with how to dye wood flowers and all the different methods and the ways that you can go about it. But this is just what I'm gonna show you what kind of works for me. I do like these baggies because I'm kind of getting down to the end of using this particular yellow, and so I'm not really wanting to add a whole lot more. I might add a little bit more water, but one thing I like about these is that once I'm really done with it, I can throw it away. How long can you keep it? Everyone has an opinion on how long you can keep it. I would say I would keep this as long as when I open the bag it didn't smell moldy or musty or gross, right? I've actually, this again was the first color that I did, and I want to say it was 2 weeks ago that I put it in here. I actually started off with some of the smaller containers because I was dipping much bigger flowers, and it is a mess. It is a huge mess. Um, in fact, I remember when I first started watching, I watched the videos of the lady who owns the wood flower business. She was sitting, it felt like she was on a TV tray, and like she was sitting with a nice fabric chair, and I felt like she was in her living room, and I was like, there's no way. I have got paint everywhere. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that. Again, I'm going to do this that might get dumped into a baggie. I don't know. And then kind of just talking about the flowers themselves and um, why we have to use the things that we have to use and how they turn out. The flowers look really great. I'm gonna grab one that's not shaded. When you dip these, and this is the yellow that I was just playing with. When you dip these, and I'm sorry as I get closer to the camera, the light is lifted. Let's see if I can focus a light over here, but the light's not as great. But you can see here that like it's pretty as is. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust some things. So it's very pretty on its own. But I want to add some highlights, and there's going to be some spots because some of this, these being wood, and you know, my son was just like, "Oh, I thought they were paper," and I said, "Well, paper is made out of wood." Um, but there's a lot you'll see like where it's folded over. There's places where you can kind of shape your flower and buff it out, but there's spots in the flowers that I've already dyed that when you look at them, like you'll see the paint didn't get under there because I'm not going to sit there. You'll see where there'll be like a little rift in there. It doesn't look a whole lot different than real flowers do when the petals start to fall off and things like that. So just keep that in mind. But this is just one that's just dipped. And again, I guess because the light by the camera isn't great, I'll have to work on that for you guys. But let me see if I can grab one. I'll grab this one and I will grab this one and I'll grab this one. Without ripping them, I hope. These are the ones that I'm getting ready for me and Elaine when she's here. This is still one of the yellow flowers. I don't know if you can see it. I have airbrushed some like orange. I don't even know if it was orange. This one might be pink. This was kind of pink on it. It gives it a little bit of a sunset look to it. You can see it. No, you can't. Not with that light there. Um, but so that's what I've done there. And I will add a little bit of highlight. This one was one of the, I don't even know what color this one was, like the kind of the peach color that I put pink on. Let me see it better back here. So I did do some airbrushing. First time I've messed with airbrushing. It's a mess. Um, every part of this process has been a mess. It's been a fun mess, but it's been a mess. So I've actually spent, since I woke up this morning, I've been down here trying to rearrange and reorganize and do some things. So when Melaine does get here next week, it's probably a good thing she ended up not making it this week because she would have been helping me organize the craft space. So anyway, so I'll explain to you like which paints. I'll show you the baggies and I'll let you know what paints I have and what. And in all honesty, I've mixed some. I've mixed them where it's like, okay, this was the house paint. When I say house paint, I just mean, I have some bare color samples that I go and I want I want a color sample and I get this and this is about $5. Um, this one is from Sherwin-Williams. This is a little bit different, a little bit more expensive because they're bigger. But I already had these because I use these for some of the wood side stuff. But then I have a ton of the craft paint. So this started off with the one bare house paint. But then later, I added just the Americana cadmium yellow because I wanted it to be a different yellow, kind of like a deeper yellow. This one, I want to say started off as another one of the house paints, and again, you'll see it at the bottom, and if you can see the discoloration. I have to just kind of sit here and all that until it's all mixed up before I dip them because you want to make sure it's mixed really well because again, I guess it would look nice. Maybe like a natural thing. If you think about like a natural flower that's dyed, they have a lot of those different, it's lighter here than it is here. And it's not just because it's at the tip, like they have those variations of color in the petals. And so I guess that could look natural too. But so now that one's mixed back up. This one realistically is the one I think I've added the most water to and have had to add more paint to. And the paint that I added to this one was I put it, the Deco Earth. It's the new Deco Earth colors. I put it away. Where's the purple? I put it away, apparently. And that's the problem with organizing your craft space is that you put things away too well. I thought my purple would have been. Nope, that's not it. So I'm not really sure where that one went, but it's the purple. It's the Deco Earth. Literally is just purple. It's a deeper purple, and I really loved how that turns out. And I'll show you an example of that. So, I mean, this is that color. So, I love how these turn out. I love this color. So there's that one. I know this one for sure. For sure was just I think it was Deco Earth again, and it was like their peach color, and this one's just crap. So this one actually stayed mixed up pretty good. I'm kind of noticing a trend with if they let me before I speak. Let me just double check. Yeah, that makes sense. Because this one started off with one of the green um, house paints, but then I decided I wanted to go like a little more turquoise, a little more blue, so I just kind of changed the color. So it seems like it's the house paints that with the water are chunking up at the bottom. This one, yep. There you can actually really see it in this one. No, like super crazy shit from it, right? There's a lot of the yellow, just like it almost feels like it's dry and you can't do anything with it, but you can. You just have to kind of knead it. It's almost like it's clay. It's like wet clay. And all you have to do is knead it and get it working around in this water. Leanne, I can see a comment. I'm so excited. Thanks for saying hi, Leanne. So this is again like this yellow is really kind of mixed down here. So, and this one I probably will end up adding more water to because I'll probably need some more orange. But I don't know if it's going to be this particular color orange. So maybe not. But now you can kind of see like that yellow stuff down here in this corner because I didn't work this corner out as much. But it's almost completely dissolved. So I just make sure it's really, and I try not to. So I did try and do a shaking method. And it works. You can shake it. But if you need it, it's better because when you shake it, it creates a lot of bubbles. And then if you go and dip your flowers in there, there's a ton of bubbles in there. It'll come out with all these bubbles on it. And then that was where I was noticing I was having a little bit more of the coverage that was spotty. If that makes sense. Like that one's mixed back up again. Great. This one's good. Don't ask me what color this is. I really don't know. I mean, this project was just I wanted to do fall kind of fall colors and bright colors that went in with fall. So this is another one. I do like this one. I think I might have thrown this might have been two different colors, but I think they were just craft paint colors. And then here's a white. Now this is actually just a craft paint white. So my theory of it being the house paints that only get that feeling of hardness at the bottom, that is not true because this was just craft paint. This was just the Americana titanium white, and it's doing that. So I'm just kneading it a little bit, just doing it while we're on. And then that way we'll be ready to go in and use them. I'll try and do a couple of each color once this is done, but I do want to show you guys how I'm mixing it. And one of the things that I've learned over time is don't get hung up on what's the ratio. What's the ratio? What's the ratio? How many flowers are you going to dye? So that way, I mean, you start off with this, and there's water. There's water and like, I'll call like a glub. I mean, I got this to do my glycerin because just glubbing the glycerin into the water kind of gets a little messy too. But it's just Water, some people were saying, oh, it's like 50% water, 50% paint. I'm not noticing that that's the ratio. To me, that's not the ratio, but I guess it depends on the color of the paint you're using, the color you're using, the color that you want to get out of it. Do you want it to be more opaque or translucent? Um, so I mean, that has everything to do with it. So I learned this last time. So I have a container over here of flowers that I've dipped that are the ones that are going to get boxed out and shipped. I might even have enough to ship out one more if you guys want to order today. So I guess I'll just mention to you guys. Um, these are wood flowers that I purchased to do different projects that I want to do. And because I'm extra, I always like I'm gonna get the big deal. I'm gonna get the big bundle. I'm gonna do all this stuff. Um, and then they've been in bins. It's like things have gotten crazy around here. But I knew that I wanted to use them. I wanted to use them on wood signs. I wanted to use them for a project like this. So here's a couple of things just to know. They're wood. They're wood. They're wood. So, but when you get them wet, like they are delicate. You're gonna see. I'll even show you on this one. Like, and I'll be able to hide this, but you guys might be able to see where it's kind of ripped. There's a petal here that's this way that's ripped. So they can rip, and the petals can fold and bend and fall off. When I was putting these in here the other day, just to get them off of where they were, I poked a hole through a petal because I have the little stems that I've already hot glued on. So when you guys are buying, whether you're going to buy the set of the un, undyed flowers, which are these, or the dyed flowers, you're going to get enough stems that are about 8 to 10 inches long. Um, those are going to come in your pack. So I wanted to make sure you at least had the stems and flowers. You got the flowers from me. I am not at this time planning on being in the wood flower business. I just really wanted to do this project, and I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to try out the wood flowers, see if you like them, um, and do it in a smaller batch than just spend all of the money that it would take to get all of these different types of flowers. So that's what that's about. So as I'm going to show you, they're beautiful. They're beautiful as is. They look my lights so bright. Let's see if I can tone this down a tiny bit so it's not so bright. Just don't want. Let's see if that's better-ish. Better-ish. We'll do that. So they're very pretty as is. It might be a little bit too dark. You guys can tell me. So would you use craft paint over house paint? I'm thinking. Yes. If all you have is craft paint, use it, Leanne. Um, at the end of the day, I had house paint here. And when I'd gone back through and watched some videos on different processes and different ways to do the flowers, oh, so bright. Hopefully, you guys can still see it. I'll turn them back up when I go to start dipping, but it's just, I'm losing my mind here. Um, she used Bear. She talked about using the color samples for Bear and that she liked the coverage better. You'd only have to dip once versus multiple times. And there's a part of me that understood that, like, this is the first time I've sat and really dipped a bunch of bulk flowers, bunches of different colors. There was a part of me that felt that first. I was like, oh yeah, that's the way to go. But then I realized it wasn't necessarily it's what paint are you using? Um, what I guess I can't. What color is it really? Again, this is just Deco Earth, which yeah, this one was just the Deco Earth because the other one, there was the other one that I mixed in, right? I think I can't remember, but like this color from this Deco Earth, it's amazing. I mean, to get covered as good, if not better. in the house paint. So don't go out and buy yourself a whole bunch of house paint to do this. Um, you know, your craft paints are going to be fine. Considering how much the house paint is for how many ounces is this? 7.5 fluid ounces. So I don't know. To me, it comes out to be about the same for the same amount of paint, about $5. I mean, the American Deco Earth is a little bit cheaper. I just wouldn't go out and buy a bunch of house paint for it. So that's just my opinion. I mean, we're gonna try these dyes. These are wood flower dyes. What it says. I don't know what the ratios are supposed to be. I don't know. I'm gonna do it by eye. I'm gonna do a test dip, and I'm gonna do it by feel. They feel pretty thick, so I'm gonna go easy on them because they were pricier. Um, but we're gonna give them a shot. I'm gonna drop them on the flow. That was the other thing. I was dropping so much stuff. I mean, I had the so I'm gonna show you the truck that I've had painted for a couple of years. Um, and the color was so great in my head at the time because it was actually going to be more of like a spring summer floral thing. Um, but then it sat there. I got into another project or whatever. And then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I don't know if I like that color. Have you used? No, that's what I'm getting ready to use. That's what I'm talking about, the dyes. Dan, I'm going to do the dyes. Um, so I'm going to show you my truck. This is the one that I'm going to try and get at least the beginnings of an example done for you guys sometime this weekend going into next week so you can have an example of what we're doing. But just don't judge me. So anyways, I'll show you guys that. But first I'm gonna finish off with these solo flowers, these wood flowers. I did not purchase the pre-softened flowers originally. So these flowers have been in a container for a while. So I'll explain to you why we need to use glycerin. But they're beautiful. You look at it's so weird how the light reflects. I mean, these roses are beautiful. Flowers are beautiful. I should have. I wanted to do the overhead camera too, but I know I'm going to be making a big mess and having to move them over. So I couldn't get both cameras to connect. So you only get the one camera right now. Hopefully, I will get the problem figured out when we go to work on the project. I was really wanting to try and show you guys the close-up view, and maybe I'll do that when we do have to work on close-up stuff. But for right now, this is what we've got because I've been down here all day and have spent zero time with my husband today. And so I told him I'm going to go do a live. He started dinner, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the day with him. He probably just doesn't even care, but that's what we're going to do. So again, this is just some of the extras I have. These are the ones that Melaine and I will be using for our project. Maybe some of these new ones I have these new colors. I'm moved out of today because the last thing I want is for whatever other paint I'm getting ready to use to splash because the truck I'm getting ready to show you in a while, but the truck that I'm going to paint with Elaine um, is just sitting way back on my space. I mean, there's like, what, 4 feet, 4.5 feet, maybe 5 feet of like width on this table. And yeah, I have the stuff set up, but I had it back pretty far, and I have got paint splashes everywhere. So here's a couple of tips that I learned that are helpful. I do have a rubber mat down on the space that I like to use because it's easy to clean off and it kind of protects the wood surface. But I don't even know who it was when I was watching, the millionth video of like, watch how she does dips wood flowers. Um, she suggested puppy pad, like put a paper towel down or put it this down. You'll see some people use egg crates. I have these cheap cookie cooling racks that I bought specifically for crafts and I think specifically to do these flowers. And then I would put towels or paper towels under them. And the woman that I watched a couple of weeks back said, if you have puppy pads, use them. Brilliant idea. Literally the best idea. Because even with paper towels, like eventually it leaks through. This puppy pad has got like 3 weeks worth, 3 weeks worth of paint that is dripped down from these cookie cooling racks, and it just catches it. So then I decided to put one down here because I hadn't done that before, and I keep having to scrape paint off of the rubber pin. So um, I originally wasn't gonna wear gloves. Originally didn't wear gloves. Why, you ask? Because the first time I watched, again, I think it's the owner or somebody at the wood flower place that does the videos. She's amazing. She's so fun. She's mesmerized me to watch. I don't know her name because I'm terrible with that. But she sat there, and as she's sitting there in her little comfy chair, she's using her fingers as she's, down there, and she's stirring the water and glycerin and the paint because she wants to be able to feel if she's broken up everything. And that makes sense to me. And so I did them. And then my hands, no matter what I was doing, I was digging paint out from underneath my nails. That really bugs me. So I decided not to do that. And when I put the stuff in the baggies, I feel like I can feel it around the baggies. I'm mixing it up good enough. So I wear the gloves because I'll still get it here. It will splash up on my face. It'll get in my hair. It will literally get everywhere because I'm a messy person. It's on my iPad. It's on my iPad keyboard. So now that I've kind of run through all of that, when you get the assortments of the flowers, you know, they come in this big batch, and there's different sizes. There's small ones. There's big ones. There's different types, different styles. So that's kind of how, if you're going to come purchase them from me just to get the smaller amount to try it out for this project, that's how you're going to get them from me. Some are going to be larger, some are going to be smaller. You're going to have different kinds. I'm trying to make sure there's, plenty of roses in there, and I'm trying to throw in, I think I mentioned earlier, the hydrangeas or premium flower. They don't come in the assortment bundle, along with some of the much bigger roses. I tried to, and the sunflowers, those ones didn't come in either. And I was trying to make sure that you guys at least got one of each of those in your boxes. Um, but they were the premium flowers, and I paid a lot. I would say a lot more, but enough more, like enough more for them that I didn't mix them all in together with these. So you guys are going to get a few more of those. There's some that look a little bit more like succulents. Hopefully, you're going to get a few of those. But I literally was going in and grabbing what I could. But when you do get the stems, the stems are in there. And when you get your box, if you order your box from me and you get them dyed or not, the stems are all, it's in a bundle, and they're taped, and they're kind of taped to the lid of the box because I don't want, they're heavy because it's a pack of 30-ish, whatever. Um, and they're heavy. I don't want them busting up your flowers. So they're taped to the lid of the box very securely. And then all you really need to do when you go to stem them, hot glue. If you don't have a hot glue gun, then just use whatever glue you have. If it's Elmer's glue, or if it's whatever kind of glue, and you'll put it on the tip, and then you'll stick the tip in, and then you've done it, right? It's not hard. So there's that. Got my puppy pad down. I'm going to show you quick. We're going to actually, well, here, let's dip. I have a lot of that color. So I'm going to dip a couple of these so I can show you. Oh, wait. No, I'm not. Wait, hold on. I'm going to show you the truck first because then I got to get this truck out of the way before I dip. Because I did get paint, dark paint on the truck. I'm going to paint the lane, which I actually plan on painting a lighter color. And then I had to sand it out. So here's the truck I've already done. I've already got my floral foam in the back. And the other step I've done is I've got, oh no, I thought they were just the white ones. Well, that's what I get for turning them on beforehand. So that's fine. But I went ahead and put some fairy lights in them underneath as well as they kind of came up through, and I'm going to wrap them into the flowers. But I thought that I got them out of my only white ones. And so now this is going to be super more colorful with pink lights with orange, and it's going to be completely fine. But so that's how I did it. I put the little on off switch thing kind of up in the truck so I can get to the switch. I did um, I did what? Oh, you're walking over to me like you have a question. No, I was just looking. Okay. Um, so I did kind of put a few of them underneath. I hot glued them underneath, but then I ran them back up through so I can put them throughout the flowers a little bit. So I'll lesson learned. I'll remember to test and make sure that I've only got the color lights that I want. But so these fairy lights are here. It's ready for the flowers. So I'm going to work on that demo for you. But I'm going to move this. Joey, can you come here and grab this and put it over here? Because I need to get it away from the mess I'm getting ready to make. Just put it as far away from you as you can without falling. Just keep going. Keep going. Thank you. My helper's here. Thank you. I'll move these flowers back a little bit because I'm only going to dip a couple in this color so you can see. Let's grab these. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this color for now before I mix another color. Because this is a really nice, to me, this is a really good anytime color, but it's a really nice little color. I've got a couple of towels here so I can kind of wipe off my gloved hands when I do this. And sometimes I stand up when I do this, so I'm going to try not to do that. But I would suggest, and I don't have one. So I have a bunch of, pre-made cookie dough that you get at Costco, like the big tubs, or if you ever get Cool Whip or soup from um, Olive Garden, like the family size soup. Like I save all those buckets for crafty stuff. Um, So originally when it was fuller with water, I was kind of setting them inside there and holding this open so I had a little bit more control because the last thing I wanted was to drop this bag or, let it go and drop paint everywhere when my dog likes to sit underneath me a lot. Hi, Nancy. Sorry. Um, it's not pinging me to let me know if you guys have said something. But anyway, so I would suggest doing that. But like for right now, I'm going to try to not have to stand up to do this. And I'm just going to show you an example. So here's one of the flowers, and I kind of go in from the side first and rotate it around. Sometimes I'll kind of scoop it up in there because you do want to get it in there. So I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to go in. And this is the other reason why it's kind of nice to have that little reservoir underneath so you can let go of the baggie. Right now I'm just kind of spreading the flowers, the petals back a little bit, trying not to rip them. So I've dipped this one. Now, once I let it sit over here and dry a tiny bit, and I do have a fan that I'll turn on eventually to dry them, I will try to pull the petals back a little bit more. The rose petals are just a little bit more delicate, but this is another reason why this top is nice. I can actually not worry about this as much. Um, but I might even go back in and dip it a second time. Some of the flowers, the paint adheres a little bit different. I don't know if it's because with these roses, see how there's still a lot of paint in there. It's like dripping off. But like you can try to pull the petals back a little bit to fluff them out. I tend to be a little heavy handed, I feel. And so I think I grip them more than I flip them back and pull them back. But you can do that. I've noticed a couple times I have some flowers I've dyed. You can even, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some underneath the fold of the petal. So I'm actually going to go back in, like dip it forward again, and then kind of rebend those petals back. Try to do this again sometime where I have the overhead camera. I just can't quite conceptualize how well that'll work. And I'll go ahead and do this one. This is kind of like a succulent-y type of one. Now this one, the petals are thicker, a little bit more stiff. So I'm gonna pull them back, and I'm just trying to make sure that the paint has gone all the way down. These also have some of the bark center. Can't really see it very much. I took my spotlight upstairs. But so I'm gonna be done with this paint for now. I want to show you guys how to mix it. Grab my towel though. Get some of this paint off of my gloves. I have so many used to be hand towels and house towels that are now art towels. I'm running out of room for the art towels. Oh, we should start working on throwing them away. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this, and I have a thing of water that I have down here by I'm gonna fill it. Eh, I don't know how much water that is. I'm just doing it. A little bit of water. So like the glycerin, again, I guess I could sit there and try and figure out by ounces what I should use, but I haven't. Let's see, I haven't even tried pouring it in here yet. So I'm actually just gonna, before it was like out of the thing, it was like gloop, like a gloop. Um, so I'm gonna do that because it's actually coming out in a much thinner stream than the gloop. So I'm gonna do that. Much thinner. Where's my sticks? Go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just get that glycerin stirred. And let's do this color. Blue spruce. And I kind of almost feel like there might be a little bit of sparkle in this, but I don't know. Hi, Jane. Oh yeah, I just dipped, man. You dip them. And if you feel like you want the color to be a little bit darker, you can grab them up on the dry rack and dip them again if you want, or wait until they're dry and dip them again. And I've actually seen some techniques where they want to have some of the color that's bleeding down into the flowers, so they'll dip in white, and then I'm going to go put it in another color just on the very tips, and then re-dip it in white and let it bleed down. I haven't done that yet. I don't know if that's, I don't know. See, this is actually pretty thick. This is pretty thick. So I'm going to do like a couple of gloops. I feel like that might be more than enough. I'm doing a couple of gloops. It's not a lot of water here. So I'm going to kind of go in here and feel around and try and make sure that I'm breaking up this paint. It's kind of nice about having a clear vessel that you're working into, is just to make sure that the paint is dissolved. Mix it up. Nice and mixed. See, and this is where I do like the baggie a lot, because I can roll up that baggie and just kind of knead through it. I feel like it's a really good job. I bought a bunch of like cheap baggies at the dollar store. These are Ziploc because I was like, I'm going through my Ziploc. Hi, Myra. I'm going through my Ziploc baggies, and I don't want to do. I might have to add more. Just, I might have to. I'm gonna try and mix it up this way again. I feel like there's still paint. I feel like there's still quite a bit at the bottom. I don't know if I was supposed to, with this stuff, use warm water. Maybe. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's really. Hold on. Again, this is the wood flower dye. I could maybe the method for this isn't supposed to be the same. I don't know. I assumed it would because it's the same on a lot of things. I'm just going to keep agitating this water. Again, I'm not trying to go in and shake it up a lot because I don't like it when I get those bubbles in my flowers when they need to dry. So I'm just going to go in and make sure it's mixed up. Yeah, we're almost there. We're about there. Okay. We're going to see what it looks like. If I have to add more, I'll add more. I might decide that I like these because they had kind of sets and color combinations that to me. So let's try. I'm just going to kind of uh-oh, yeah, no, I'm going to need a lot more unless I want a super light color. And a memento, please. We need more. I don't even think I had to use that much. That much craft paint, but I used that little bit of water. This isn't even really a lot of water, so mix it up some more. See if anyone's asking any questions. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Okay, I know I'm not paying the best attention, but I'm trying. I promise. Let's mix it up again. I'll have to go see. They didn't come with any instructions. I didn't watch any videos on if there's a difference in what I'm supposed to do with the dye. So I'm supposed to use warm water instead. I don't know. And then maybe this is not supposed to be super, super dark. I mean, you can. You want them to be like a lighter, pale pastel color. You use less paint. So, we'll see. And I might even let it sit a little bit. Maybe I'll shake it up and come back to it. I don't know. But sit there and give that a shot. No, it's a little bit darker. I mean, it's pretty. It's just not dark as I was hoping for. So I'm getting it in there. I want to try with some of these tiger wrapped roses. Oh, see, I still have a bunch of chunks in there because I'm getting like really dark, chunky spots. So yeah, maybe I was supposed to dissolve this more in warm water. I just went in the way that I was going in, but if you can see, like up underneath, it's like super dark there. So yeah, I'm probably gonna put the lid on this. I'll put the lid on it, shake it up, and then let the bubbles come out. Hold on. Maybe I'll just throw it in a baggie. Maybe that's the decision. Maybe that's the decision. Or I'm just put it in a baggie. Yeah, see, there's a lot of paint there at the bottom. Add a little bit of water to this. Try and get some of that residue out of the bottom. Get as much of that paint up as possible. I think that's probably a problem. Okay. Another case for the bag. Alright. That's what my major malfunction was. Get it all nice and mixed up here. Questions. Like that I can roll it to be a little therapeutic for me. I don't know why. It's everything. Alright, let's give this a shot. See if it makes a difference. Let's see if I should put it in here. So just in case. Just in case. Nope, I don't like how it's functioning. So we're gonna hope that I don't spill blue paint all over me. We're just gonna take the same flower and go back in. It's a little bit better. You can see it's a little bit better. So maybe this was meant to be lighter. It does say, what does it say? I think it was sky blue or something. So that might be as dark as it's supposed to be, I suppose. Blue spruce. I don't know. Maybe we'll add some more later. Let's try. Let's see if with one of these other ones. Let's see if one of these toasted coconut. Let's give that one a shot. I think I'm just going to do this one in a baggie too. I don't think I'm going to mess around. Because it is kind of nice that I can just throw these away when I'm done with them. You don't want to pour paint on the drain. It's not a good decision. So, that's pour water in the baggie. Dinner is starting to smell very delicious. Try not to mix up too much. That might go to waste because if I don't use it all up by the time I'm ready to do this project, I mean, I'll save the baggies, but once it starts to get, what starts to smell like musty water, I'm not going to use it. And I really don't need to dye any more flowers this color, I don't think, or these colors, so trying not to waste. This isn't as thick as that other one is. At least it didn't look it. Well, I think we're going to call that a day. And then I will do some of this over. And again, the vegetable glycerin is just to keep the flowers soft, just to soften them up a little bit. I probably don't use enough, but I think there's a right or wrong way to do this. To be honest, yeah. Except I'm making a big gross mess out of the tip of that, so I probably should have let it have air. So I'm just gonna try and squeeze as much of the air out as I can. And then I'm going to mix it up. Much easier to mix it up like this, that is for sure, because I did get some paint up here at the top. I'm gonna make sure this is fully put. I'm gonna kind of come up here and grab some of that paint that got stuck on the bag. And I can see where the paint is still like settling at the bottom, so I'm just taking the bag and get the sensory toy, mixing it up. Questions? So I'll go ahead and see how this color works. I'll be right up. His dinner is done. I knew dinner was smelling good. So I'm going to go to trying this little rose. Yeah, looks like I'm going to have to add a whole lot more of this dye. So I don't know. I mean, I can't. I don't really want to waste it though. Like at the end of the day, I can get better results from. I don't want to say better results. It depends on what look it is that you're going for. It's a very pretty color. Like I'll show you guys what after they're both dried. They're both very beautiful. So the intention is that they're supposed to be this lighter color, and if I want it to be more of like what I've seen on the bottle, I'm going to have to use a lot more. But that's fine too, because these are both very pretty. But yeah, you could probably just get the same effect out of using my craft paint in all reality. So that's just my opinion. I love the flowers, and I'm sure I'll eventually love the dye. But I love the craft paint. I have a ton of it. I buy it when it's on sale. It's 99 cents a bottle. So I'm not going to be really upset if I'm doing a big baggie and I'm going to dye, 50 flowers, 100 flowers, and I'm using $2 worth of flowers. That's just my opinion. So that's really all I wanted to cover. So I think dinner was done at a perfect time today. So I'm going to work on doing, I'll dip one more for you guys. Just 'cause I want to feel like I cheated you. Let's dip it in one that I know is going to give me a lot of good color. We'll do one of these. Oh, no, that one got unmixed. That one got unmixed. Let's do the yellow. The yellow stayed mixed. Do a little pretty yellow rose. I love the roses. There's no doubt. That in. Just kind of get all the way around. Tip it out. I mean, it's just, see, I expected there to be more, not a whole lot, not a whole lot more paint in here. I mean, I guess there is. I mean, I've done a couple of dabs. These are 4-ounce bottles um, of paint for these dyes. And I only did a couple of dribbles, but in all honesty, to get to this color, um, especially the first time, I want to say that I only did 2 or 3 squirts. It wasn't even a quarter of the bottle, so I would say, I don't know, it's similar. But I am also not a wood flower dipping expert either. So like, you can listen to me or not listen to me, but I really like how that yellow works. So that's the Americana Cadman. I know I always say that wrong, and I got to get some air out of this. When they have air, they do stupid things. So, if you guys, um, yeah, I mean, you can use mica powder. And mica powder, you can always try and add the glitter stuff. I don't necessarily like adding um, glitter to just paint unless it's already glitter paint, but I don't like how it kind of clumps up together. So I would think mica powder would be good. But I'm going to show you guys how you'll be able to like take, even if you wanted to like spray a little glue adhesive and put some glitter on there. I don't know if I'm going to show you that, but I'll explain the process to you because I don't want to use glitter on this set per se, but I am excited. And these are pretty. I mean, this is a very pretty tan color. So I'll show you guys that close up and see about this. And this is a very pretty like blue. And I just touched it with my yellow painty hands. So it's going to be blue with a little bit of yellow painty hands. That's all right. And now I've got this dog mat, as you can see, no pin underneath. So I'm going to fold this back up for later. Of course, he wants me to show her how to dip flowers. And she's driving right now, so she's not watching. But let her get a little messy. So I hope that answers your questions a little bit, or at least gives you an idea of whether or not, if you're going to order the flower bundles, do keep in mind, and they are limited because I only have so many flowers here. Again, I'm not going to be in the wood flower business, but I have um, 2 undyed right now that I have put together, and I might have enough to do 4 more, maybe more than that. I'd have to go look, um, but if you want them dyed, I need to know if you want them to be able to go out. I don't even know if you'll have them in time for the project, but I can do my best. Um, I can do my best to make sure you guys have them before we actually sit down to do the project next weekend. But if you want them, just make sure to go to gammy'shappybees.com. Again, remember, I'm my little bee. That's why it's called Gammy's Happy Bees. He calls me Gammy, not Grammy. It's Gammy. So that's why he's my little happy bee. So go to gammy'shappybees.com. Um, and the naked flowers, the undyed flower pack is on there, and then the dyed flower pack is on there. You can't pick your colors. It's basically the colors that I have here. I'm going to give you an assortment of them, and that's what we're doing. So I'm going to go eat dinner. I hope you guys have a great night, and I hope that you got something out of this. I hope you're excited about the project. I'm excited about the project. So I'll talk to you guys all soon. Have a great one.